Now, this is somewhat of a kind of like a mission statement for a bartender. This is really going to help you stay true to your game and help you make a lot of money in addition. Rule number 1 of the high five of bartending on your bar philosophy is to have fun. More importantly, I like to have more fun than everyone. Fun tends to be very contagious, and if you're a fun bartender, the chances are people are going to stay and order another drink because they feel comfortable, they're having fun. And if they stay to have a second drink, then you're going to have to feed them. You're going to have to then sell them an appetizer or possibly a dinner or a food plate of some sort. And after they eat, of course, they're going to be ready to have another drink. So once again, I'm just building a higher check average, and I'm getting that check closer to $100, which is my ultimate goal. And one way of doing that is having to be a fun bartender and keeping people at your bar versus that boring bartender that says, here's your rum and coke, and goes back to watching ESPN with you. So definitely want to entertain. Rule number 2 is to work hard. In addition, I like to have that sense of urgency. As a bartender, people want to know that you're there for them, so it's very important that you treat them right away. As soon as they sit down, greet them, make that eye contact. Hey, how you doing? My name's Arnie. Throw that cocktail napkin down in front of them. If you got other people, that came before them, let them know. Say, hey, I got this person, I'll be right with you in 1 second. Just give me a moment. Can I open a bottle of beer for you, something fast? That way I can give them instant service by just getting that bottle, quickly opening it, and letting them feel welcome, letting them feel that I'm actually here for them. And that's what's really going to make them feel obligated to give you a nice tip. Rule number 3 is to ring everything in. Very important. The main reason is so people don't walk away with free drinks, or so you don't get fired, because that's what it really comes down to. Being behind the bar, you're going to see this bar make so much money, and you're going to have a lot of temptations. One of those temptations is theft. In fact, 75% of all bar loss is due to bartending theft, and this is a proven fact. So definitely want to make sure you ring everything in, and don't forget to not ring something in, because people will walk away, and then if they walk away, then you're losing liquor. And in addition, you might even lose out on a tip, because if they leave a tip at the bar, that's going to remind you that, hey, you never gave us a ring in our drinks, and then you're going to have to chase them down. And chasing people down in the club scene or in a restaurant can be some bad news. So definitely want to make sure you ring everything in right away and present the ticket right in front of your guest. Number 4, wipe underneath. Personally, I consider myself a professional cleaner before a professional bartender. The same way a chef keeps their kitchen clean, a bartender is to keep their bar clean. We are in the food and beverage industry. Sanitation is number 1. So if we're not making cocktails, we're cleaning our bar. And number 5, take care of your regulars. Very important. These are people that put money in your pocket on a weekly basis, and in some occasions on a daily basis. Remembering their name, calling them by their name. Hey John, welcome back. Come in, have a seat. Same drink as always. Making them feel like, oh my God, Arnie, he's great. He knows my drink. He knows exactly what I want to order. I might even punch in his food at the time. Same appetizer, pulled pork sandwiches, whatever it is that John enjoys. So once again, making John feel really welcome, comfortable. Now he's going to feel obligated to give me a good tip when it comes down to the end of his meal. That's the bar philosophy on page 11. On page 12, you can kind of go consolidation on your own. Everybody will find their own way to be fast. This is definitely a good starter if you're not used to, finding a way to multitask. This page 12 is going to help you out more with the consolidating all your cocktails. On page 13, it talks about burning your well. This is something that you do at the end of the night. Health code standard that you must get rid of all your steel ice by pulling it either out of your ice bin or melting it all down with hot water. Now it's important that you keep your ice bin wiped down, clean, and sanitized every day, because ice is the foundation to every cocktail. And once again, we are in the food and beverage industry. You're preparing a cocktail that the next individual is going to consume and put inside their body, and they're paying top dollar for these drinks. It's the least you can do is ensure them that you're making them a fresh, clean, sanitized cocktail. And by consistently practicing burning your well at the end of the night, wiping it down, and using hot water and sanitizing solution, of course. Making multiple drinks indicates, if I'm making 2 martinis, I can make 2 martinis and 1 Shakerton by simply doubling up the alcohol. Somewhat of some common sense there. I can make up to 3 cocktails usually in a 28-ounce weighted Shakerton. Let's go over the mechanics on page 14. Now the mechanics, these are 7 different preparation techniques that we use when making cocktails. The build, the same way I made the Cape Cod for you earlier. I'd build a drink, I'd get a glass, I would add the ice, then I would add the alcohol, and then simply fill with the mixer. That's the build process. Mix, you obviously would have to mix before, or excuse me, build before you get to the mix. So we'll be mixing some cocktails such as the Long Islands, the Long Beaches and stuff like that. Chill, you need to know, we'll be chilling our shooters, our martinis, by shaking them vigorously in our shaker tins with ice, capping it with the pint glass. We'll be chilling our shooters, our martinis. You need to know the stirring technique. Once again, using the bar spoon. You could be one of those bartenders that stir the Long Island or stir your martinis like we used to do back in the day. The layering technique, I'll show us how to layer a cocktail maybe a little bit later when we play around with the Mai Tai. The muddling technique is another preparation technique. Once again, muddling down fruits, herbs before shaking it vigorously in a mixing tin. And the freezing technique, also known as blending. You know, these are the 7 preparation techniques. These are 7 different ways that we prepare cocktails, also known as the mechanics. On page 15, glassware. Some of the glassware that we'll be using for these drinks are the martini glass. Now the martini glass is designed so you're not holding and warming up the alcohol. That's why you have the stem there. Usually martini glasses, you want to have them chilled, so we keep them in the refrigerator, or we'll give them a cold water bath, which I'll show you here in a little bit, to chill the martini glass. This is your tall glass, also known as a pint glass, usually about 16 ounces, very versatile. We'll use these for capping our shaker tins. Also, we'll be using these for specific cocktails when we get to the cocktail selection in your book. You already learned what the rocks glass is, usually about an 8 ounce, kind of a bucket shape. This is your rocks glass. We'll also be using a Collins glass, very cylinder, tall. This will be for our Collins and other cocktails that you might want to use a Collins glass for. And we'll also be using a hurricane glass, anywhere to 15, 18 ounces, also known as a footed Pilsner. We'll be using the hurricane glass for usually our fruitier cocktails or even blended drinks. You learned also the snifter glass. We'll be using for cocktails when we serve them, straight up or neat or perfect, some of the modern day terms. On the bottom of page 15, this talks about your bar measurements for the free pouring. As you can see, for every 1/4 ounce, it's about a 1 count. Eventually, what you want to do is grab your bar jigger, and to start practicing your free pouring, simply grab your bar jigger and pour the alcohol into the jigger and count. And about the time you get to the number 5, you want to make sure you're right at the rim of your jigger. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and on 5, I should be right at that rim of the jigger. If I counted too slow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then obviously this is over pouring. If I count too fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I'm under pouring, and the amount of alcohol would be short. So this is one good way of practicing your free pour. Eventually you want to get a rocks glass, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pour this into the jigger, and to see how you did it blind. As you can see, that one was right on the mark. On page 16, these are liquor brand names you need to know for the test. You need to know 2 of the following liquor brand names. Under vodkas, now these are just a few examples that we give you in the book. There are a lot more vodka brand names than this. For the test, you need to know at least 2 vodka brand names. Maybe on your downtime, you can go out to a liquor store or your local grocery store and just go look around the liquor section, the walls, and you'll see that they group all their vodkas in one section. The gins are all in one section. So just go over there and look at the different brand names of vodka and start to familiarize yourself with the different brand names. As a bartender, we're salesmen. It's very important that you know all the brand names of what you're selling. If I was a car salesman and all I knew was Honda and Nissan, I probably wouldn't sell that very many cars. So it's very important to familiarize yourself with all the liquor brand names. Also for the test, you need to know 2 gin brand names. Bombay, Beefeater, very popular. Gilbey's and Gordon's, Tanqueray. These are all very popular brand names. You need to know 2 rum brand names, Bacardi, Malibu, Myers, very popular brand names there. You also need to know 2 whiskey brand names. It could be an Irish whiskey, a Canadian whiskey, American whiskey. 2 whiskey brand names for the test. Also, you need to know 2 Scotch brand names. Now in this video, we're not going to be really messing around with too much Scotches. However, it's very important that you do familiarize yourself with the Scotches as well. Also for the test, you need to know 2 tequila brand names. Being so close to the border here in San Diego, shouldn't be a hard one for us over here. Jose Cuervo's, the Patrons tend to be very popular, very trendy. Hornitos, we have 100 different brand names to learn. The book does give you a few examples there. Once again, there are a lot more than here, listed here. On the next page over for your test, you need to know what does it taste like and where are they from. You need to know Chambord. Chambord is a blackberry raspberry liqueur. Comes in a small bottle like this, which is a liqueur once again, and it comes from France. And more importantly, you know what it tastes like. I doubt anybody's going to come to your bar and say, "Where's Chambord from?" But you really want to know exactly what kind of flavored liqueur this is. Also, you need to know that Amaretto is an almond flavored liqueur. A premium brand name, one that's very popular, the Di Saorno, tends to be a very popular premium almond liqueur. You need to know Bailey's. Bailey's is an Irish cream flavored liqueur from Ireland. Also has Irish whiskey in there. Also for the test, you also need to know that Kahlua is a coffee flavored liqueur from Mexico. And you also need to know that Midori is a melon flavored liqueur from Japan. All right, halfway down page 17. For the test, you need to know about our premium schnapps. Ruppelmans, you need to know, is a peppermint schnapps from Germany, usually 100 proof, really strong stuff, normally kept in the refrigerator or freezer, along with your Jägermeister. You need to know that Jägermeister is a black licorice flavored liqueur, or schnapps, also from Germany. And you need to know that Goldschlager is a cinnamon schnapps from Switzerland. Once again, these are normally kept in your refrigerator or your freezer. I like to keep these nice and cold without having to chill them. Now at the page 18 about tequilas for the test, you need to know your 4 categories of tequila and be able to describe them. You need to know that silver or blanco tequila is unaged, uncolored. You need to know that your gold tequila is simply added flavoring and added color. You need to know that your reposados are aged 2 months to a year, and that your añejos are at least 1 year in government sealed barrels. And believe it or not, as of March 2006, there's actually a 5th category of tequila. This is something that we call extra añejos. These are at least 3 years in government sealed barrels, a little bit darker of a tequila, kind of like the cognacs of your tequila. These are meant to be sipped and enjoyed and not shot down like a traditional tequila shot. Speaking of cognacs, at the bottom of page 18 for the test, you also need to know the quality of cognacs in order. VS, VSOP, and XO. In that order is the quality of cognacs. VS actually stands for Very Superior. VSOP stands for Very Superior Old Pale. And XO stands for Vintage or Reserve, or Extra Old is an easy way to remember that.